Good morning. Welcome back. The time right now, 8:23 in your consumer news. For the third consecutive time, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates, raising a lot of questions about our economy. Local financial professional John Lawton from OpenAir Advisors joins us to really discuss the latest increase and what it really means for us here in Texas. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Cleo.
John, why is the Federal Reserve raising interest rates? Many people think it's to avoid a recession.
Well, sure. And really right now, last week, consumer price index came in at 9.1%. Inflation is through the roof. And so really raising interest rates, the goal of raising interest rates is to slow down the economy, slow down that inflationary number back to their mandate of right around 2%.
The president has said time and time again that we are not heading into a recession. What are the experts like you saying?
Well, technically, a good rule of thumb for a recession is two negative quarters of GDP. First quarter of this year came in at negative 1.4%. The second quarter came in at minus just under 1%. So we technically have had 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. Some would argue that with unemployment being so low, maybe we aren't in a recession. It's really tough to know if you're in a recession until you look back and really measure the economy. So we won't really know until later on. But technically, with GDP growth being negative, it looks like we're in a recession.
All right. How much has inflation impacted gas prices and everyday goods that we need to buy, like groceries?
Oh, yeah. In mid-June, the average gas price across the U.S. was over $5. And just like you said, that permeates everything. Everything whenever you go to the grocery store, from any packaged good, manufactured good, to the produce on the shelves. And so the good news is I filled up my tank this morning on the way in for under $3.50. So we are seeing a good trend line there. Where it goes from here is really anybody's guess.
Oof. Now, home sales, they're dropping fast here in North Texas. Is there a good reason for that? Is that the increase in mortgage rates? And do you expect that trend to continue?
Well, it's all going to be tied to interest rates. At the end of last year, the average 30-year mortgage rate was 3.25%. Today, it's over 5.5%. The average house price in the U.S. is $428,000. At the end of last year, you would have paid $1,500 for that mortgage. Today, you would pay $2,000 for that mortgage. And so home affordability is a big issue. As interest rates go up, it makes it harder and harder to buy a home. But as you've seen this month, we've actually started to see those 30-year mortgage rates come down. So as they come down, I think it'll make it a little easier, and we might see those houses moving faster.
Yeah, let's hope so. Is inflation making it hard to retire right now? What are you seeing with your clients, and what are you telling them?
Well, inflation and this market, we've seen volatility both in stocks and bonds this year, and that's made it really difficult to look at those 401ks and those retirement accounts. What we tell our clients is you need to have a safe bucket of money. You need to have a foundation to your overall financial plan. And so having a place to go for your income so that you don't have to sell assets that are down. That's one of the worst things you could do is looking at your accounts and selling while you're down. The goal is to buy low and sell high. Right. So having those foundation pieces is important. At OpenAir Advisors, we're risk management experts. You can learn more about how we manage portfolios at openairadvisors.com.
There's some people that, they're having a difficult time dealing with inflation and just staying afloat. Some people wondering if it's okay to dip into their 401k.
That really is a tough thing. Really, your 401k is really designed as a long-term asset, really there for those later times. And so anytime, it's really not a good idea to dip into your 401k, especially as it relates to, everyday expenses. Right. If you have to do it, there are resources to do that, loans and different things. If you can stay away from it, try to get your budget in order so that you don't have to. Really look at both those fixed expenses and the variable expenses in your budget to keep yourself in line. So that you're not spending more than what you're bringing in on a day-to-day basis.
All right, John, thank you. Great insight this morning. John Lawton from OpenAir Advisors. Thank you for joining us here on Daybreak.
Thank you, Cleo.
All right, and we'll be right back after this break. Stick with us.